Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back, surprisingly, to Canon for Your TV, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. It's a little bit laboured, actually. Yeah. It's been an interesting. How many hours, Ralph? 12 hours,
12
14,
hours.
12 hours. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be doing like an analyst. It's not going to be a long show. I've got more important things to be thinking about and getting upset about, Ralph, to be honest. But Ralph, how are you, man?
Well, like I said to just a moment ago, I've eaten. I slept because it was a late night, wasn't it? So not as late as any of the travelling fans from Man City, but after the watch along, ate something. I watched a program. I didn't want to have anything to do with, with the match after the watch along. But I have been seeing a lot of statements flying on the WhatsApp group and also on other platforms as well. So yeah, you know, let's go in. Let's go into it when you've done the intro.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, like I said, it's going to be like a kind of analyst of the game last night or yesterday, or depending when you're watching this. Man City dismantled Arsenal. Is it the end of Arsenal's title hopes? Well, mathematically, it's still there to be won by either Man City or Arsenal. But anyway, I think what I wanted to put up, Ralph, was literally just seeing the bare bones of it. You can see it there, 4-1.
Ouch!
It was. I tell you what, if I say masterclass, that doesn't do it any credit, to be honest. I mean, Arsenal were just blown out of the water. 4-1, a brace by Kevin De Bruyne, supporting acts Erling Ireland and John Stones. We actually thought it was going to be ruled offside by VAR. It's in the game, but they said no, it was a goal. Played online by Ben White, who you guys like to call him as, or know him as Benny Blanco, and he got a little bit touchy, didn't it, Ralph, in the second half, with some of the players losing their heads. We're going to speak about Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, who are the older players, experienced players who should know a lot better. And again, yeah, the manager found a little bit wanting. Second half, from what I could see, the stream that Ralph and I were watching, he spent some of the time on the bench talking to his number two, Stoinberger. So yeah, Ralph, it wasn't a good display. And I said to you last night, Ralph, it wasn't so much that Arsenal didn't start; it was that Man City started and finished it. And then the players were looking, what happened? What happened? Have we started? No, it's finished, man. It finished a 4-1, 4-1. But anyway, Ralph, yeah, your thoughts, man. Your thoughts. And good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so we're doing a watch along last night.
That was a good
Had
one
the
as
wrong
well.
top on.
I thought it was
Had
a
the
good
wrong
one as
top
well
on to
that we did.
begin with. I
Yeah.
thought we'd play with the black top. Maybe should have kept the black top kit on. Um, yeah, it felt like a bunch of youngsters wandered into the wrong territory, and the big boys just roughed them up. You can see that was the agenda. The agenda was we're going to play the game differently to the way that Arsenal is expecting us to play. When Man City came to the Emirates, I think it was more of a strategic kind of chess game because there's a one goal win, and we was trying to keep up with them. And I think we did keep up with them. And I think the psychological aspect of it was at the end when you saw Shevchenko being kind of like bullied by his former teammates. Um, it felt like, okay, so we're just showing you what we're capable of. So wait till you come to our ground, and that's what happened. We came to their ground, and I don't know what the set play was. I did say to Alex prior that it should be a different team. It should be a different team because we're going to this game predictable. Well, the only additional change was Xhaka coming in, but even then, I don't think that he was fully fit, or he was up for a fight, but unfortunately, it was the wrong type of fight because he got himself immersed with all the other Man City players. But their first goal from losing possession, their goalkeeper just passed it to one of their players, and it was just a high ball. It was a long ball up to Haaland, and Holding was holding Haaland. But even then, I always say, like, you either get the ball or you get the man, or you get both, but you don't let one go without the other. And De Bruyne just turned up, and it was a Pep Guardiola masterclass in how to use your players at the right time, even when they're not firing on all cylinders. And Haaland's goal at the end was the piece de resistance at the end. It was the cake kiss. No, we walked into the wrong area. We weren't prepared, so I have to blame Arteta on that. Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, Zevchenko, they were anonymous. Odegaard, they all were anonymous. It was Man City versus Ramsdale, because Ramsdale, although after the first goal, Ramsdale had to make so many saves. It could have been a more embarrassing scoreline, if I have to be honest. Yeah. So my observations was we didn't turn up, and I have to keep saying this. Why is it that when it comes to these matches that we don't turn up? It's not the first time that this kind of form has happened. You can make comparisons between the team this season and the team last season. When we tried to get into the top four matches we had to stay within the top four, and we fell apart. We lose key players at times when we need them the most. And I have to say, Partey has been poor for the last 4 matches. Hence the reason why we got Jorginho. Jesus, glad that he's back, but he hasn't scored. Or he scored. He scored against. Who did he score against?
He scored a penalty.
West Ham?
Was it West Ham? West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you look at it, 1 in 4 matches, that's not a healthy return for a striker. When you can't make comparisons to Haaland. Haaland he's a beast. Haaland is a beast. But Jesus, he's the main man. Martinelli, you can see Martinelli was frustrated when he was taken off. But what do? It's stick or twist. And like we said last night, Alex, you were saying to me, all right, Ralph, so how could you take Man City away? Because Man City's been doing that all season. And I said, Alex, at some point, you have to change it up. If Martinelli and Saka are too predictable, because Saka he was man-marked at the game by 1 player. He didn't have his usual 2 who fouled him every time. He was man-marked. I think he got a breakaway 1 time. 1 time. Martinelli man-marked twice. So those are your 2 threats. Why didn't you change it up?
But
now, I'm not a coach. We're not coaches. We're observers. You know what I mean? We're observers. We follow the team through thick and thin. And this is one of the important parts. Sorry, Alex. This is one of the important parts I have to say. You follow your team through thick and thin. You may not like the results. You may not like the style of play. But this is your team. Now, you're quite happy to wear another top if you want to. I can't stop you doing that. But this is our team, and we have to support them. This is, like Alex said last night, this is the end business. So we have to support the team. But it doesn't mean to say that we don't give fair criticism where it's needed. And I think fair criticism has to come in because Arteta has been found wanting again.
what I want to say from before I give my short version of what I thought about the game, even though maybe a lot of you probably didn't see the watch along. I actually enjoyed doing the watch. You know, I don't like doing watch alongs, but I did enjoy doing this one with my brother. And thanks to those guys who actually said that they like the different camera angles. Um, I think I didn't want to give a prediction, Ralph, because if you're going to ask me for a prediction, I will give you an honest prediction. You might say, well, you've got to always back your club to win, but that's not good. That's not always, realistic. We've lost, I think, 4 or 5 times this season already.
Mm.
But I knew we were going to lose against Man City last night. I knew it was going to happen. I actually predicted, in my mind, 2-1 to Man City, but they won. They doubled the prediction that I predicted there. Now, when you look at the games throughout the whole season, you can't really plan, Ralph, or predict, right, in March, we're going to get these points. In February, we're going to get these points. In November, we're going to get these points. What you can do is manage your players a lot better, like a Thomas Partey, a Bukayo Saka. We said, look, last 2-3 seasons, Ralph, Bukayo Saka is tired. The guy's only 21 years of age, and you're still asking this guy to carry the burden of trying to get the club now over the line and win the Premier League for the first time in 19 years. Manage the players a lot better. You go and never step back. The transfer windows have not been that great, Ralph. They've not been that great. Trossard, for me, really, really good. Probably, the best signing we made in the transfer window for the shortest time. And the other players, not so much. The other players that's come from Man City, Zinchenko or Gabriel Jesus. Now, leading up to the World Cup, I said Gabriel Jesus was very, very lucky to go to the World Cup because he hadn't scored more than 4 or 5 goals in like 9, 10 games. So he's very, very lucky. Not a prolific goal scorer. Not prolific. Now, and then you look at the players, Ralph, the experienced players like a Granit Xhaka, a Thomas Partey, who lost their heads last night. When the chips are down, you have to look to those players because they're there for a particular reason. They're there getting paid a certain amount of money for a particular reason because you're hoping that when the chips are down, they're going to perform, and they did not perform. Was it down part and parcel of Man City? Yes, it was. It was. But you've got to do something to kind of avert the change. Do something. Arteta, Ralph. Arteta does have to, I don't want to use the word blame, but when you are going to the Etihad, Ralph, like we were joking last night, or they are going to know what you're going to do. Do something different. Do something different. Bukayo Saka on the right, Martinez on the left, Odegaard just off the midfield, a Thomas Partey. Pep knows what his pupil is going to do, and he just followed suit. And then what did he do, Ralph? The first goal, it was so un-Man City-like, Ralph. So un-Man City-like. I can't remember who's the player who lobbed the ball over, diverted or averted the midfield. Boom, Erling Haaland turned Rob Holding in the path of Kevin De Bruyne. And it happened so many times, Ralph. 4-1 doesn't really belie what the score could have been, Ralph. The score could have been at least 8 or 9 goals, Ralph. 8 or 9 goals. So you know what Man City are going to come with. So what should you have done? You should have got the points at Liverpool. You should have got the points at West Ham. You should have got the points at Southampton. Don't let it come to this point where now the pressure's on. And look, you know what's happened now. There's been a meltdown, Ralph, on the majority of the platforms, including our WhatsApp group. But where are the points? Liverpool. You should have secured the points there. Going 2-0 up, Ralph, inside 5 minutes. 2-0 up at West Ham and Southampton. Those were the games there. Those were the games there. And now you've been found wanted. We're wanting you to walk on water, and what happens? You are drowning. You're drowning. Sorry, Ralph, man.
So my brother doesn't really rant much.
I haven't started yet, man.
It doesn't bring a bit of of light heart, lightness to his rather heavy subject. Listen, I think the reason why this result, I can put it, I think the reason why this result, maybe in some areas, some real fans, I want to say real fans, who may be a bit like Alex, they want to say what the oncoming train was going to do, because of the backlash that they get. They say, "Oh, you're not real fans." Look, you're a real fan when you have the shirt, when you've gone to the ground. If you don't go to the ground, if you support them, if you walk amongst other rivals, and you're pillared because your team, you didn't get top four, they're eighth twice. Okay, they may have won the FA Cups in the past, but it's all in the past, And then all of a sudden, the expectations. I think what it is for most of us Arsenal fans is the expectations. We were just hoping, you know what? Let's get top four again. Top four would be happy, and then the next season we see if we can kick on. And of course, a lot of the I always say haters, because some may hide behind the keyboard and some may be very vocal. They want to be where we are, and they couldn't believe it that Arsenal, what, last two seasons they've been eighth, and now they're leading, they're top. So let's take them down a peg or two. Let's hope that someone out there can take them down a peg or two. And it hadn't happened as quickly as they expected it to. But the flip coin of this is that the players have to also understand the expectation of the fans, and I think most of them do. I heard an observation early, I think it was on the radio, that when the players got onto the pitch, there was no huddle. Was there a huddle? Did the players huddle? I don't recall, because I was trying to keep up.
No, I didn't see there was a players huddle. No.
There was no galvanizing of the team like there was when we was 1 goal down, 2 goals down against Southampton. If you remember, Shevchenko was shouting at the players to get their heads together. Yeah, there was no galvanizing when we got a goal back. It was all we've forgotten about that kind of like togetherness when we got to Man City. It's like we had some kind of amnesia when we got to Man City, and unfortunately, Man City, as I said before, they showed us what it takes to become a champion. And one of the many things that has become very cliche with Arsenal when they lose is we take the positives. We'll take the positives. And I said to Alex last night, Alex, we've got a shed load of positives. When are we going to start executing those positives? When are we going to start, showing up to take the teams? You know what? It takes bravery. It takes courage to go somewhere, go away and come away with 3 points. We did it at the very start. Everyone was thinking, here we go, late night football, Arsenal's going to be on the back end of this. And we survived it. And we come to this point now where, okay, it could be like Trafalgar, it could be like Waterloo. Either you win, but you have to sacrifice something, or you lose, but you gain something. And too often we have lost, but we seem to be losing more ground without understanding who we're playing. We play against Man City not for the first time. This is not we play against Haaland twice. We play against Man City for as long as I can remember. Man City being competitive. We gave Man City back 3 of our best players when we was rebuilding the stadium. So this is not a new team that we play, a new club that we're playing against. The Pep Guardiola, his main focus is champion domination. And I remember saying quite a while back that I won't mind him at the Arsenal. I won't mind him coming up to the Arsenal because he will have that wealth of experience that he'll make the team, mold the team to the way that he wants it to perform. Look at Man City now. They were in the rear view headlights. Now they literally sat next to us. They're sat next to us. And I said this last night. I'm not being negative. I'm not being pessimistic. There's sometimes where you have to just see it for what it is. I think that Man City will overtake us, and then they'll do what they have done for the last 4 seasons, 5 seasons. And I don't want them to win the Premiership. I want us to, if anything, I want Arsenal to compete to the point where we make it hard for them. But we didn't do ourselves any justice last night. We didn't make it hard for them. We made it easy. So of course they're going to score goals. I couldn't see where we were going to score. We managed to find the goal only because Arteta decided to put some subs on. He probably had enough.
Yeah, but you know what? Sorry to cut him, Ralph, but I want to give maximum props to Rob Holding. I know, the defending. I mean, a lot of the centre backs this season would have found Erling Haaland, a handful. But when you are on the sideline, Ralph, and you can see how Rob Holding got beaten the first time, surely the manager or coach would say, "Look, Rob, now drop off. Don't be too tight. Don't get rolled so easily. Drop off. Let him turn. Then try and put a tackle in." But you see that being played out. No instructions come from the sideline, and you do the same thing over and over again. Rob Holding was just too tight on Erling Haaland. And in the second phase, playing the ball to De Bruyne is running off and away from the midfield because no one picked him up. And only for him to bear down on goal at least 5 times, Ralph.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, Arteta, you know what, you still have not learned the lesson. But Rob Holding, much maligned, I've always respected Rob Holding. And who scored the goal? It was Rob Holding, wasn't it, Ralph? He scored our goal. So I know a lot of people are going to be saying, "Oh, Rob Holding is no good. He's only a championship defender." Rob Holding is not William Saliba, and William Saliba is not Rob Holding. Although they play and dominate that position there, they're two different players. And there's a reason why Rob Holding is only a squad player, because clearly he's not at the level of a William Saliba. But maximum props to Rob Holding, Ralph, for scoring that goal there. But the damage had already been done. Who are the strikers, Ralph, in the second half for Arsenal?
Well, it was just Jesus. We had Martinelli. We had Saka, but then they got subbed. Reece Nelson came on. Jorginho came on, and Reece Nelson, I think, in the passage of play, he beat 3 Man City players and laid off the ball. He was looking sharp. So for me, I would like him to start. I would like him to start the next match.
Oh, the next match, right? Okay.
Yeah, Trossard
should be starting. Trossard should be starting, Ralph.
Now, I think I would put him into the next few matches, because there's nothing better than having competition for the top spot. And if you put the ball in the back of the net, then that's in a sense that secures your spot until whatever kicks in.
It's hard to take when you're so close but yet so far away. And again, you've got to prepare for every eventuality. If anything, Arteta has not learnt, Ralph. He has not learnt the lesson. The squad depth, the transfer windows, the players' mentalities. I mean, someone joked actually this morning that it seems like Gabriel Jesus knows who's his boss, which is probably the reason why he didn't perform.
You're saying he's still on the retainer.
No, I'm not saying that, man. You said that.
It's still Jesus and Shevchenko still on the retainer. Like I said before, like Alex and I, we was like laughing last night during the watch along and on the way back home. And I said I never laughed so much after watching my team play the way that they did, because our dad, God his soul, he used to say, "You know what? I would never have a team because none of these players would be my team now. I'll sack the whole lot of them." And it was something that always stuck in my mind, because our dad was very, very passionate fan. But his team was of the Liverpool back then. He loved Liverpool, but he liked Arsenal, but he loved Liverpool. And that is it. It's pedigree. Alex
Yeah.
alluded to it. Alex alluded to it earlier about transfer window. You have to get those right. You have to make sure the players gel. You know what? I think the thing, if I could take anything away from Arsenal for this season, I have to say it's the amount of love that they gave back to the fans. The amount of games that just when we was thinking, it's Man United or it's Brentford or it's Chelsea or whoever it was. They gave us some really memorable matches. It's to me the only kind of like sore point of this is how from now on, how does it end? How do we want it to end? Are we going to fight all the way, or because of last night's psychological like hammer blow to the psyche of those players? Is it what? If you've given up, in fact, I'll say this to any of the Arsenal players. Not that they've watched Cannon for TV,
Oh, you never
but
know, Rav, man.
if they do, I would say to them, you know what? So, what's going to be your definitive moment now? From now until the end of the season, is it because now you've lost the match that most fans were hoping that was? I think there's more hope than actually think that we're going to win. How are you going to be defined by your next match? Are you going to go out all guns blazing and just try and win every match, or have you given up? Are you on the beach now?
Do you know what, Ralph? I don't want to see a Bukayo Saka play against Chelsea. I don't want him. I don't want to see him starting. I don't want to see a Thomas Partey. I can't say household changes, but a Thomas Partey again. If you're going to call him the linchpin, the guy has got to perform and get Arsenal over the line. A Gabba Jesus, you call him the marquee signing. He has also got to help Arsenal get over the line. And that means turning up for all 38 games. Now, I do understand that he was injured when he came after the World Cup, but since he's come, again, he's not been a prolific striker. Not for Man City, and nor will he be for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka is tired. Who's hungry, Ralph? When you really look at the players, who is hungry? Martinez, you know what he's going to come with. You know what he comes with, what he brings. Trossard should be playing, Ralph. The guy is Premier League experience. He should be playing. Should be playing. So I want to see some players, and if it means that when we play Chelsea, that they also beat us, I want to see the players fighting. But I'm tired of watching the team being so predictable, Ralph. It's so predictable, like day follows night. Change something up. Arteta, have a plan B or plan C. And one more thing, Ralph. With Pep Guardiola, that first goal there, Ralph, it's one thing to practice that and tell the players this is what we're going to do. But it's a completely different thing when they execute it. It's just something to belie. You see the guy just lob the ball over to Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland just laid the ball off for Kevin De Bruyne. Not once, not twice, at least 3-4 times, Ralph. And yeah, Arteta, learn the lesson, man. Come with your B and C and maybe your D plan. A doesn't work for the whole of the season. You got to change things up, man. You have to change things up.
Well, just going back on that first goal, when Holding was holding, I keep saying Holding. When Holding was holding Haaland, it's similar to last season when Holding was holding on to was it on Song, and he had an early yellow card, didn't he? And he got sent off.
Yeah.
So as a defender, you think, you know what? As I said before, either I'm gonna get the ball, or I have to hold. If I'm holding the man can't come past me. He's not gonna make that pass. And the one other part that kind of frustrated me as well is that when Haaland did make the pass, another defender was coming across. I'm not sure who it was, and he was pointing. And I'm thinking, forget about pointing to try and get to that to De Bruyne. Spend your time accelerating to try and get to make the tackle. But
And
by that time, it was too late.
but that's the other point I was going to make, Ralph. You know, if you're going to go in for a tackle, your back line or anybody else in defence has to pick up the second phase.
Yeah.
And there was no one there. There
No.
was no one there, Ralph. Again,
No.
if lightning strikes once, don't make it strike twice or even a third or fourth time. But it's like they were half asleep. They were half asleep. Arteta was half asleep.
How could you be how could you be half asleep when you got all of Man City shouting at you? You can't be half asleep. That's the time when you got to be most awake. That's the
Shell
time
shocked,
when you should be ready. Yeah, they were shell
shell
shocked.
shocked and lacking desire, Ralph.
Yeah, yeah,
Shell shocked
yeah,
and lacking desire.
yeah.
When you go in those games there to whether it's Liverpool, Anfield or the Etihad, you got to be up for the fight, but you also got a game plan. You know what? When you are in the game, you got to be a good reader of what's happening, what's being played out. Don't let it happen again and again and again. Arteta, Rob, no, drop off. Drop off. Let Haaland turn. All right, guys, drop off. Martinelli, drop off. Guys, drop off. Let's close down the spaces in the final third. Because what's happening, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like I said to you, Ralph, when their goalkeeper had the ball, was there any pressure put on the ball, Ralph?
No.
There was no pressure.
I was annoyed.
They were stuck between a rock and a hard place. So Arteta, you've got to learn the lesson, man. It's like the players were thinking, right, what do we do? Do we go with plan A or plan A? You guys only had plan A because there was no plan B or C. But again, Holding makes that mistake there. There was nobody else to cut off the second phase. What was the second phase? Well, the ball got laid off. De Bruyne, ran off the midfield and the defense, and he scored a goal. But anyway, right.
I was saying to Alex last night that Arteta probably watched Cannon for the TV because Alex was saying you can't have Arteta shouting to you instructions.
Oh,
and then last night Arteta was just silent it's like he was kind of like respectfully silent. And I'm thinking, no, I want the Arteta to still be to be galvanizing the team. If you're doing it at home, you should do it away. You know what I mean? Forget about being respectful at your opposition because Pep, you see how Pep was wound up. I mean, how he got the fans on his side and everything. It's the same. It's the same that I wanted to see Arteta do. I wanted Arteta to be on the sidelines, having a go at his players, making them, understand and to say, okay, if it's plan A, this is my plan. We're going for it. Okay, the boss says it's plan A, boys. It's plan A. Until such a time when something changes, or if we're a man short, or there's a yellow card or whatever, we're going plan A. I said to Alex last night again. There's a famous guy called Chris Gardner, and in one of his books he says you gotta have a plan A because plan B, C, and D don't work. Now, in the life of becoming a stockbroker, or if you want to become a person in career or jobs, yeah, your plan A is what you're aiming for. But when it comes to sport, the plan is always to win. But you can have plan A to Z as long as you execute plan A to Z. There's a program I set out as well last night on Netflix about Last Chance U, where it's a bunch of young men playing basketball, and some of them have got a lot of talent, but in the colleges that they played for, they turfed them out because they weren't performing. They weren't team players. They were maybe selfish. They probably didn't listen to the coach. They were indisciplined. And this university trains these young men to get them not just the scholarships, but also to play at the high end. And this coach came in. If you ever get to see it, it's the first thing you see. He come in and said, "It's all over. It's over. It's all over." And he's taken the basketballs off the young men. He said, "You guys are not performing to the levels I require. Go home." Now, I can't see Arteta, other than when he was in the All or Nothing, having a go at those players. I wonder if he had a go at those players last night. I wonder if he had a go at his players after the Liverpool match, after the West Ham match, after the Southampton match. You know, when does it kick in for his players to say, look, this is the only opportunity. God forbid, tomorrow, if I was, if anyone was to pass away, if I'm playing my last match at the Arsenal, I would give it my all. I would leave everything on the pitch. You have to literally drag me off the pitch to the changing room. You have to literally drag me off the pitch because I would not want to be able to be still in the dressing room thinking I haven't done anything, I haven't performed, I haven't given it my all. I didn't even see Odegaard do a lap for the home fans. So
I think he probably did. I think he probably did.
I like to think he did. I like to think he did to be that consistent.
Yeah.
But all in all, yeah, last night was a massive disappointment. I was trying to be optimistic, and it came and bit me. Okay, that's me being optimistic. If you want to be real, then I'd rather that you be real. I think the reason why people are not don't want to be real is because of the backlash that they get on platforms. Guys, you don't have to look at negative feedback. If one affects you, 10 would definitely affect you, 20 would definitely affect you. You don't have to. You don't have to look at them. Look at the positive ones. Pick the positive ones and say, right, because that's life. Life is positive and negative. It's up to you where you want, what you want to choose. But wherever you choose, you don't have to, you don't have to stick it for the rest of your life, so to speak. You can change as well.
Yeah. I don't know. If Rob Holding's watching, man, you're welcome to come on Cannon for the TV, man. We'll, if anyone doesn't want you, we'll have you over here, man. Anyway, let's go to the live chat. First lady, Cannon for the TV, Anne says, "Good morning, Alex and Ralph."
Good morning,
Ange. Hey up, Gunners, Ralph's original wingman.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Colin Young's in the show in the live chat. Good morning.
Where was you last night? I wanted the time check.
Let's have a good rant after yesterday's disgusting performance. Not so sure about that. And Anne says an embarrassing night. Well, we were embarrassed, We just, I can't. It's not, to me, it's not so much Arsenal's players. It's more to do with Man City and Pep Guardiola. He knew what was coming, and he knew how to avert any trip-ups, any slip-ups at the Etihad. It wasn't going to happen here, man. It was not going to happen here.
And the thing is, if we could you imagine if we had go like say we was 2 goals up, Pep, he would have come on the pitch and he probably would have physically shook a couple of his players to say, "Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand the importance of this game?" Or worse still, could you imagine him doing it at half time to his players? Because I don't think any of them will come out there alive. To be perfectly honest, he will change the whole thing. And that's the difference. That's the difference in levels.
Exactly, and that's one where you keep the players hungry, isn't it? The fear of defeat, or the fear of not performing and knowing fully well there's somebody else who's waiting in the wings to take your position. Keep the players hungry. Quality players with the right mentality. Keep them hungry. But we're not. Again, you can't compare a Man City to an Arsenal.
No.
We've done well. We've done really, really well. Again, if I had a crystal ball, I would have probably said, actually, Ralph, did you know for 32 games we're going to still be top of the Premier League? And you both said, oh.
We've been smoking.
Anyway, I said Trossard should play up front. Gabriel Jesus has done well with return, but not fully there yet. Time's running out.
Yeah.
5 games to go now. Colin says something different, kind of like Pep did in possession by moving De Bruyne up almost. 2 striker systems to take advantage of what we always do. If Rob Holding is there and pressuring quickly, had to do something. Didn't do anything really, did he? He's just going for 3 in a row with that team and willing to tweak. And says, agree, Ralph Arteta was found wanting.
Again,
Nothing wrong with fair criticism. Yes, as long as you don't, again, when you start
abuse.
infringing on the realms of at least the standards we have set here,
Mm.
again, inciting racism, abuse, and then Can Authoritative is not the place for you, man. It's not the place for you. Colin says criticism has to be done without abuse outside the context of football. Holding is a great example. The man is the fourth choice centre back that did his best. The game is not on him. Absolutely agree with that. This
Yeah.
defeat was not. I mean, it's a team game, isn't it, Ralph? What about all the other 10 players? Actually, 10 players plus the manager. This is not down on Rob Holding's shoulders.
No.
And he was the only player that scored a goal. Jesus couldn't score a goal. Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, they couldn't score a goal. Even more so, Thomas Partey. That chance, Ralph, you said last night, where Thomas Partey had that shot, Ralph. You couldn't even hit the target, Ralph. Couldn't even hit the
The,
target.
the difference was De Bruyne curled his shot from the side of his foot. Partey tried to do the same thing, and I don't know how, but it went straight rather than bending. If you put Partey next to Partey against Tottenham, and the other guy he scored, was it against who did he score against? Was it Aston Villa?
Oh, good, now you're asking.
Aston
Uh,
Villa or Everton? I'm trying to think.
we should know because he's not been prolific, has he, Thomas Partey?
No,
I don't
no,
remember. I don't
but
remember. Yeah.
what I'm saying is the way that he shaped his body to take the shots. The one against Tottenham was the same action, but somehow he managed to bend it because he went to the top right hand corner. The same thing he did again against whichever team he played, he scored against. Did the same thing against Man City last night. It was just a flat shot, and the flat shot just went straight. It went wide. It hit the post behind the goal. It didn't curl or anything, you know. But when you're central, when you're outside the box and you're central, you have to hit the target, or at least make the goalkeeper work.
Gotta hit the target. There was no real pressure. He had that,
He was
that
no.
pocket there. There was no pressure put on the ball, and he should have hit the target. But anyway. Ange says he got the only goal. Yeah, Rob Holding, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm by your side. You know what I mean? Rob, well done, Rob, man. Given the squad situation, our manager needed a solution. He gave none and did the same thing as the last three games. That is not good enough. It isn't good enough.
It's not good enough.
Again, you know the calendar. The last three games, you should have got something out from those matches there. Maybe Liverpool, maybe it was a point gain, but West Ham, Southampton, that's unforgivable. That is unforgivable.
What I would say, if I pop
Yeah.
in quickly, I would say Liverpool is a class act, and we got it was more of a point gained than points dropped. But then when you see the same curvature of incidences happening when you play against West Ham, then you went to the break 2-1. You had a choice to make changes. He didn't make any changes until the 70th minute. They scored. I think they scored the equaliser in the 65th minute. I think it was, or 68th minute, something like that. So you decided to gamble and hold on when really freshening up the midfield, because Partey tried to do some kind of loop pass and it didn't happen. When you're on the field and you're looking at your players, you have to be critical. You can't be thinking, okay, I'll give them another chance. If you're going to give them one chance, I think if you're going to give players chances, you can probably make it almost a habit that you give a player a chance, maybe up front. When it comes to midfield and defense, you can't be giving them too many chances, because those are the critical areas that could lead to goals. If your striker is missing, but your midfield is still providing chances, then okay, you have to tweak the up front. But if your midfield is leaking and your defense is leaking, you have to make the changes. and
Ralph,
Arteta didn't do that.
let me ask you this question, Ralph. Do you think these players believe that that well, at least the first teamers, so any player who is, who regularly plays for the first team, do you believe or do you think they feel like they are untouchable? I.e., you know what, the manager's going to always choose me no matter what happens. Do you think that that's what they think, Ralph?
Well, the manager has brought in that kind of culture. The manager has relied upon the, if you're looking at the team prior to international breaks and the World Cup, it had a Ramsdale, it had Saliba, Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Tierney, I believe. Right? It had Odegaard, Partey, Xhaka, Shevchenko. It had Martinelli. It had Jesus. It had Saka. Yeah. Then we lost Jesus, and we had Eddie Nketiah. Because the talk at the time was, how can, it's typical Arsenal. Look where we are now. How could Eddie have an impact on where Jesus is? Because Jesus is so influential. But Eddie got it done in most cases. The last minute winner against Man United.
Yeah.
Okay, and then going just a bit further forward now, Jesus comes back, but we're missing Tomiyasu, we're missing Tierney, we're missing Saliba. That's three of your key players in defence, and unfortunately, Rob Holding is coming in to fill in that centre spot. But I don't understand why Arteta won't put Tierney in, because Tierney is more of a defender than Shevchenko. Sometimes you can get away with it. Shevchenko has gone away with it a couple of times. But if you look at the game against Liverpool, where he got nutmegged, if you look against the game West Ham, they were down to him, unfortunately.
Okay, let's continue in the live chat. Prosper says, Jesus retainer. That's down to Ralph. Anyway, Ralph.
I better retract that, I think.
It's out there, Ralph. Cowboy TV and family is the only comfort I have as an Arsenal fan right now. You guys are cool, but that's down to Ralph, man. That's down to Ralph.
It's down to both of us.
We all stick together, says Ange. Good matters. Glenn Wynn says, hey, Alex and Ali, Bourma, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I wish I could have. I wish I could have told them that. I wish I could have told them that. Yeah, the Boomaye the team, man. Boomaye, that's it.
And Colin says, I'm truly not and firmly believe this cannot go on the players. There is no zero adds tactical changes. The very best managers have a system they can tweak and change. Arteta must learn. Got to learn the lesson,
Alex,
man.
we keep on saying this. I said to Alex again, we was laughing in the car. I said, when we were kids, like when you're a kid and you get up to mischief, your parents always give you, maybe not these days, but back then they give you a wallop to say, look, you've done this now, you behave yourself, and somewhere along the line you have to learn. I can't be doing this kind of foolishness, because that is the consequence. Arsenal has been in this kind of like loop for at least 4 or 5 years, where we've gone to a point now where it's either defense, we're either losing key players, we're losing them when they're training, we're losing them because of silly yellow cards, We're losing because of silly fouls. Last night, the free kick was given for the second goal in a dangerous area, 42 minutes in. Instead of holding possession, instead of pumping the ball up their end to try and make it come through us again, we gave away possession. And it's these things that's the most consistent within this team 4 years and going some. We give away free kicks that hurt us. We give away yellow cards. There was more fight when we was fighting against Grealish and all the other players towards the end than there was on the actual pitch. We're doing foolishness. So when does this foolishness have to stop? You don't see Man City doing that. You don't see, unfortunately, the Liverpools, and I have to go further back for the Man United to do that. They're either all one or they were separate. But if they're all one, you have to take the whole team as a whole. You couldn't fight one player. You end up fighting the whole team. Arsenal have to. I'm not taking Arsenal have to learn. Arsenal should know that you know what you're doing. You know who you're playing. You should know. So it's your responsibility to take the game and give to the opposition the best that you can do.
Let's continue live chat. Glenwyn says, coming Gooners, we're 8 in here. Gently touch the like button and share this stream. Not sure if you touch on it. Nobody's talking about Gabriel turning his back. Is that Jesus? Zinni, I think Magali Yangs. Zinni again out of position. White was lounging or along.
He couldn't.
Go, Ralph.
Man, like Alex alluded to it last night. Man City, they game played those players. They knew who to target. They were tactical in the way of holding the ball. It annoyed me that the goalkeeper was just holding. He had his foot on the ball, and we couldn't push up, because if we pushed up, like Alex says, it left a space. But then, if you're not going to push up, you man mark. And even when we man marked, because they were so comfortable on the ball, every time they went forward, they were most likely to score. And look what the score sheet shows.
I've got to run through these very quickly. We're going to end this live stream very, very soon. Ray from Arsenal Fan Circle, good morning to you, fella. Good morning, Alex and Ralph. The opposition showed us our deficiencies last night. We must go again and try to finish with 5 wins.
That's what it is now. That's what it is.
Yeah. Saka and Martinelli not taking on defenders, and Nelson come on and take Kanye on twice, Alex. Yeah. But by that point, at that time, it was too little, too late. Too little and too late.
80th odd minute, I think he came on. I said, change it second half.
All right, Glenwood says Partey scored against Spurs and Villa, Ralph. So you were right, yeah. Ray says either put the correct lineup out or make changes 20 minutes in. You said that, didn't you, Ralph?
Yeah.
Glenwood says, Alex, I say yes. Partey, Xhaka, Zinchenko, Jesus, Erdegaard and Saka are the ones that I believe are the favourites of Mikel Arteta, and all of them need to be benched or slapped on the wrist. Okay, if you say so, Glenwood, man. One thing I've always said, Arteta needs to stop being Pep's pup. We ate Man City, we're Arsenal, and play the Arsenal way. And I said that 2 seasons ago. Is Arteta trying to change Arsenal into Man City 2.0? Is that what he's trying to do? Because that's not the way that we play. It's not the way that we play. But anyway. Wong Tong Soup, good morning to you. Nice.
Wong Tong Soup.
Yeah. We should have played a 3-4-3 like how Spurs have lined up. Before I go any further, but that's down to Mikel Arteta, isn't it? Down to Mikel Arteta. Again, tactically, he's so naive that you're thinking, is he like a cat caught in the lights of a car? He is.
Rabbit.
Second half, just on the bench, thinking, right, okay, well, We've lost this one, haven't we? What do you think, Stoenberg? What do you think? Yeah, Arteta, I told you. He didn't listen to me. Plan A, plan A, plan A. Line up against them in the past. When they got results against them, it was clear from previous games that we weren't going to be able to go toe to toe with them. But wonton soup, like I said before that, the last 3 games, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, when you're leading 2-0, you're leading 2-0, and you're telling me that, actually we just escaped with a draw. Something is not right. Something is not right. And we've been found wanting. Right, last one. So I do have to end up the show. Alex, I refer to the video about Arteta on Tuesday. Yes, Glenwood did do a video also on his platform with Guna Matters as well as California TV. Stubborn and a bit of arrogance that's creeping in. A better number 2 that can rattle his brain. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Anyway, Ralph, what are you laughing for?
Sound like you was dancing.
What do you want to say, Ralph, before we wrap up this game? This game.
Okay, just a couple of things. First and foremost, if you're on this platform or if you're on the WhatsApp group, I've noticed a bit of traction with certain comments. Listen, we're all grown-ups. We've all got responsibilities. I always say to my daughter and some of the people I work with that what comes out of your mouth, you're responsible for, and it's the same when you type it. Whatever words that comes out, we've all got a level of responsibility, and be honest in a sense. Have a fair opinion or something. But I say this may sound a bit cliche, but it's just be kind. Be kind, because we're not in the locker rooms. We're not friends with the players. Unless you're very fortunate, and maybe you may get the chance to watch this. Which thanks very much for watching. But we're Arsenal fans, and where I'm talking to you now, I'm in the wrong part of North London. Unfortunately, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm an Arsenal fan, and I'm very happy that on this platform, Alex and I and the rest of the contributors and those who are watching, it is frustrating, of course, but it's never going to be easy. Anything big, anything worth achieving is never going to be easy. It's never going to be a cakewalk, as they say. But we also have to be responsible about the way that we conduct ourselves as well. So I don't want to preach, although it may come across as preaching, but what I just say, be kind, be understanding, and this is the time now where we have to start being a bit more understanding of the players, because of course the players are feeling it, and maybe if we can send some positive messages to the team to say, look, okay, it's a loss, but the season ain't over until it's over. So we still support you, but please put the ball in the back of the net as often as you can, and then we can move on. We can move on. And as always, I'll always give my big love to my brother as well, and to you guys who are watching. Thank you for supporting Canon for the TV. And when I get myself sorted and straightened, then I'll do another watch along.
Brilliant. Anyway, and that said, we're going to end the show over here. I've got to go and pick up my daughter, have some daddy and daughter time. Anyhow, this, my friends, has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. Brother Glenwyn,